And we're live.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 46 of Kids Deserve It. We hope you've been enjoying our weekly chats with educators and game changers from around the country. Also, don't forget, you can check us out on iTunes.
And also make sure you check out our book, Kids Deserve It, on Amazon right now. And if you order it while you're waiting for it to come in, you can get it on Kindle for $2.99.
Also, don't forget, you can join us for our Kids Deserve It chat on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And check out Todd's Periscope right before the chats at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. This week, we got another great guest, but first, we want to introduce ourselves. I am Adam Welcome, Director of Innovation and Technology in the Bay Area of California.
I'm Todd Nesloni, elementary school principal in Navasota, Texas. And our guest this week is Eric. And Eric, how do we say your last name? Wolf?
Wolfel.
Wolfel. Well, Eric, we are so excited to have you here with us this week on Kids Deserve It.
Great. Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, it's really a unique experience for me to share my athletic and personal experiences with the audience here today. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. We also want to remind our viewers to participate in social media. Anytime you listen to this recording or watching it live, we love to hear the things that stick out to you using the hashtag Kids Deserve It.
So, Eric, we got a few questions for you. So, for those who don't know about you, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I am Eric Wolfel. I participated in national team rowing with Team Canada for the last 7 years, from 2010 through to 2016. And during that time, went to multiple world championships, Pan American Games, and ultimately the 2016 Olympic Games this past summer. In addition to my athletic commitments with Rowing Canada and representing our country in the sport of rowing, I also serve as a volunteer at my local YMCA for after-school programs. I'm really passionate about being involved in the community because I think there's a lot of value in athletes sharing our experiences with individuals out there so that we can all learn and grow from that. Arts from Brock University in St. Catharines, Ontario, so just outside of Niagara Falls, for those of you unfamiliar. And even there, I was engaged in after-school programs and also other community outreach programs. So I spent a lot of time in the community outlet while being involved in sport.
I love that. So tell us a little bit how you got initially involved in the sport of rowing.
Yeah, great question. So my mother was the librarian at the high school that I attended, and I'd often have to wait after school to go home with her because she worked past dismissal. And I'd always see these kids running up and down the hallways, doing push-ups, wall sits, all sorts of different exercises. And I used to try and egg them on, antagonize them, and also, to politely put it, motivate them. And I'd say like, oh, you call that a push-up? Like I could do that. And finally, one of the girls on the youth team stood up to me and said, well, let's see you do this. And so I went up to the rowing coordinator at my school, had no idea what rowing was about, had never taken a stroke or really been involved in a lot of competitive sports. And I just said, hey, I want to join the rowing team because I wanted to take on a challenge and, see if I could pursue it to my fullest extent. And for the next 11 years, I stuck with it and loved every minute of it because I loved taking on challenge and seeing what I'm capable of. And rowing was an outlet in order for me to do that.
Nice. So basically, you got into rowing by talking trash to other people. Is that kind of kind of it, though? Like,
it just goes to show, you never know what one experience is going to do for you, and that one moment really defined the next 11 years because I don't know who I would be without my athletic experiences.
Nice. So you won a gold medal. Congratulations in the Pan American Games. What was that like, man?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, and it can be said for any athlete that has the opportunity to represent their country or club at any major sporting event. So just alone competing at the Pan American Games was wonderful. But for me in particular, it was extra special because although Toronto was the host city, rowing was held in a satellite location of St. Catharines, which was my hometown. So I had the opportunity to not only represent my country in a major sporting event, but also do it in my hometown where I began rowing 11 years prior to that. So that was unspeakable as to how exciting it was. And I had a great time with my teammates. And fortunately, we came out, on the right side of competition with a gold medal. And I owe a lot of that, results to my friends, my supporters, my teammates, coaches, family, everyone that was there along the way for me. And as I said, it was in St. Catharines, my hometown. So they were there coincidentally already there to watch because it was just, going down the road to buy some tickets and get into the venue. And so it was a wonderful experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
That's so awesome. Cool. So you're also connected with the company that we are an organization that we actually love and are good friends with, and that's Classroom Champions. How did you get connected with Classroom Champions?
Yeah, great question. So after the Pan American Games, I was spending some time finding ways to be more engaged in the community, and particularly from a distance base as well, because my rowing commitments were becoming more and more increasingly important as the year went on, because we are getting ready for Olympic qualification. And I just happened to see on social media this program called Classroom Champions. Didn't really know much about it. I just sent them a message on Twitter saying, "Hey, just filled out your online questionnaire. I'd love to learn more about it. Shoot me an email and let's get in touch." An email from an individual there. We connected through email and over phone, and then they said, "You know what? You have a great resume. You're obviously engaged in the community. You're very passionate about sport, sharing your experiences. Let's find a way to make this work." And so, beginning in, I believe it was September through until today, I have maintained a partnership with them in order for me to share my experiences, both athletically and personally, with the program in various outlets. And it's something that I really enjoy doing.
Nice. I actually got to hang out with Steve and Heather Lee for one whole day last week. They were down here in my school district. It was pretty fun hanging out. Steve had his gold medal with him, and he was letting kids wear it at the couple of schools we went to. It was pretty sweet. So Eric, what was school like for you growing up?
Yeah, school was great. As I said, I wasn't super involved in competitive sports, but I always loved just, being in interacting with my friends and my classmates. So I was active, I was pretty engaged in classes, but I wasn't, as I said, a competitive athlete. And I really enjoyed my time as a student in either the post-secondary, secondary, or even elementary school levels, because it's just a chance for you to learn, grow, develop your skills in both academic and personal settings. And it's made me the person that I am today, and I'm very proud of that. And so when I look back on my educational career, it's something that it brings a smile to my face, because it's a part of your life that you'll never forget, and it's very unique. And I say to a lot of adolescents or young children that I work with at the YMCA, enjoy what you're doing. That's the bottom line. Make the most of it and have fun, because that's what matters most.
Nice.
I
Totally
love that.
agree.
So, what is the biggest piece of advice that you would give to educators in how to best support kids?
Yeah, just provide support to the adolescents. I mean, because you never know what that individual student is going to go on to be. I mean, if you talk to my grade 5 gym teacher, they probably would say that Eric Wolfel was never going to become an Olympian or do this, that, or the other. Every child and every student in as much ways as possible, because you want to ensure that they can fulfill their dreams and their aspirations. And when they do that, as an educator or a supporter or a parent or coach, it's really rewarding to see that payoff down the road. I couldn't tell you how many times I've connected with old teachers or students who have been very supportive of my rowing and also my personal development as well, when they see me engaged in community events or involved in other partnerships that I have. And you never know what can happen from one singular moment. I mean, look at me and how I got into rowing. It was just a challenge, and it's defined me.
Nice. So Eric, when you're having one of those tough days, you can't get out of bed, you don't want to go to work, you don't want to go to practice, what do you do to kick your butt into gear?
Yeah, I just remind myself that I deep down, I love the process. I love, challenging myself, finding out what I'm made of, and getting the most out of myself. And you can apply that to anything. It doesn't have to be sport. It can be raising a family. It can be pursuing a job. It can be, your education, making sure you get 90% or 100% on your exam, or just even trying your best. And you want to make sure that if you can go to bed at the end of the day, if you woke up and it's a hard day, you want to make sure, though, that at the end of the day, when you go to bed in that same setting, that you did everything you could to be the best you could be. And when you do that, it's pretty satisfying. And fortunately for me, the sporting world allowed me to do that every single day.
Right.
Nice.
So who is someone that inspires or challenges you to be better right now in your life?
Yeah, hands down, my parents. My parents are the most influential people in my life, and they were incredibly supportive during my athletic and my educational career, and just saying, Eric, do what you want to do, and you know what, put your 100% effort into it. And my father is a man who taught me that, you want to finish what you start. And I started, in the sport of rowing to sound too redundant, but to really develop myself. And so I rowed for the purpose of finding out how good I could be at discipline, teamwork, time management. And my father, he said, keep rowing for as long as you can until you feel like you've maximized those skills. Don't worry about the results, because you know what, your medals, they and your ribbons, whatever they be, they end up in a box at the end of the day. But what's really going to define you as an athlete is who you were and how people will remember you. And so my parents, they've taught me so many countless life lessons. And you know, my mother, well, she did a lot of laundry over the years, and I wouldn't have been able to, you know, be so involved in sport if it wasn't for her doing that. So, to my parents.
I know what that's like. Got to thank the mom. All right, Eric. Every week we like our guests to leave a challenge for our viewers. What is your challenge for the week?
Yeah, plain and simple. Try to say please and thank you to every single person that you interact with. My father, again, he once told me, Eric, you don't have to be the smartest person in the world, but if you can say please and thank you, those are the two most powerful words in the English language. If you can use those, they will go a long, long way. And I believe that they have for me.
Nice.
You know, I think that challenge is such an easy one, but it's so absolutely important, just like what you said. I mean, it's something that nobody has an excuse on why they can't do it. So I think that's a great challenge.
Absolutely. Well, and it's something, like you said, very simple.
Well, Eric, thank you so much for giving us some of your time today. I know you're extremely important, so we really appreciate getting to learn from you. So thank you so much.
Hey, my absolute pleasure. And I'd love to be here again and connect with you guys and just, you know, fill any questions or just continue to be engaged with you going forward.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank our viewers as well for joining us, and make sure that you follow us on Twitter at Kids Deserve It, and that you're sharing out awesome stuff that you're doing all week long with the Kids Deserve It hashtag. And check out our Twitter chats on Wednesday, and then be on the lookout for our next guest. Everybody have a great week.